August 7, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E futures mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. It looked like those two legs up in the pre-market, a sell-off or two small legs, kind of a sideways consolidation, and then this very big. I didn't find this channel until later, so I was playing all these smaller channels in between, trying to make things fit. But it ended up being this big, I would say, kind of gradual sell-off with a lot of consolidation zones, because it was like a consolidation trading range here, sell-off, another consolidation. Looks like this might be two legs down, another choppy two legs, little consolidation zone here, rally, another consolidation zone. Looks like two legs, three legs, four legs down. Then toward the end, last couple hours, looked like it was a big push back up into, I would say, kind of like where the market opened in the pre-market. There was no economic data that came out except at 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is about right here, which, as you can see, didn't really do that much, was the unemployment claims. And then I do know throughout the day, various news items were being released, like from the administration, things about tariffs, various things, which did cause some kind of these big knee-jerk reactions that happened. I'll try to point them out when I get to them. I managed to take a total of two trades, and I was profitable on both. Now, the last couple of days that I've been trading, I think into like last week, I've been kind of like losing, and I don't think I was quite in tune. So today I was very conservative, no runners, just a 1 point scalp, just trying to get my head straight again. And I would say the second trade is definitely more risky, and it probably shouldn't have occurred. And after the second trade, and I was looking at it in hindsight, I realized that, yeah, I need to stop trading because I could feel my mental game drifting from where it should be. So I was kind of losing my sharpness. So then the rest of the day, right around here from 9 onwards, I really wasn't uh, dead intent on looking for a setup to trade, but I was looking for setups, and I found a really nice one right here, but I didn't take it, unfortunately. So going into the chart right now, the pre-market looks like it's a one leg up, pull back, another leg up. So to test the high of this red up channel, looks like it was kind of like one leg down, maybe two. You can say one small one here, pull back, second one here. Then a big rally on this green, excuse me, the screen. Sorry about that. Push, looked like it was two legs up on this big green up channel. Sell off, break of this orange down channel, push down, hit this sideways consolidation. I tried to see if there was some kind of channel that fit, but something like this felt a little too shallow. And even when it being too shallow, there's like not really good, I guess, respect being paid by the prices because it still broke through and it still broke through the high. You could say there was a channel here, but it didn't really result in anything useful that you could probably take a trade off of, both long or short. So I ended up just deleting this. There's a sell-off. This is localized low. Let's push up, break of this orange up channel, comes back down. There's no second entry. It's just a first entry. I had this, actually I had a little bit lower. I had something, I'm going to draw it in, but quickly delete it because it's just adding confusion. I had something similar to this early on, thinking, okay, there might be a channel here or a range here. Pushes up. It looks like then I actually drag this up here. I'm going to delete it now. And then I thought there was some kind of support down here. Looks like there was a triple test. Here it looks like a visual first entry short, pull back, second entry short. Technical count, you actually have a first entry, second entry, third entry, but I saw it as a visual one push up, hitting this resistance, push down, push back up, hitting this resistance again, potential triple test, visual second entry long, excuse me, second entry short. But these aren't convincing signal bars, so it's an almost test. You'd have to take the trade going short based on the strength of your belief that this triple test is actually hitting some kind of resistance here. Now, I couldn't do that personally because I felt like this could potentially make a measured move, something like this. So even though it was kind of topping out here, it didn't really indicate to me that it was ready necessarily to reverse other than a triple test, and that's just not good enough. Plus, I'm going off a visual second entry short. But then prices do move down. you have a lower high here. And the lower high, it was just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It didn't quite touch this. I had this drawn as a channel that kind of came straight down like this, but I wasn't that big a fan of it because there's a break continuation down. And then right about here, I found that maybe it's actually this red down channel. So you actually have a new high, first entry long pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but when you see this signal bar, you're not thinking of going long just yet. I had this range actually higher up at the time. So I was thinking maybe there's a failed breakout, but it looks like it's fitting nicely in this red down channel. After seeing this much consolidation, I was not ready to go long anymore. But then I did drag this down thinking, okay, well, actually, maybe the bottom of the range could potentially be right here. Pushes up is a new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. But I also saw that this is kind of a triple test, localized bottom area. And this is actually where I take my first setup. So technically you have a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. When this candle opened, it opened right at where this guy closed. It's kind of pushed above by a couple ticks, flushed down, and it was having a battle. And I was watching this and I was thinking, actually, it could be like a kind of localized low here. First entry short pullback, moved one tick above this localized high here, pushed up and starting to reverse strongly. So I will say this is a little bit more of an aggressive trade because I did enter on the engulfing bar, and I was thinking this break of this green up channel, this potential green up channel, has technically tested its high. And initially, where I had the trading range here, I was watching it move. It broke through, came up, dropped in my order. So I was very lucky to actually get this. And again, I'm only going for a 1 point scalp. So I got the fill, one tick below this guy, after waiting patiently to see this thing break below what initially I thought might be the trading range. Later, I dragged it down to here, but I still kept the phantom line here thinking this could all be a failed breakout. Later, I did delete this. Broke below, got my fill, got the 1 point scalp. Great, just happy. Take it, run. So I wasn't going to try to go for 2 points because, as I said, lately, I just have been having trouble. So better just take the profit, 1 point profit, which I've been practicing and trading with for quite a while. And then I recently moved up to 2 points after I checked my metrics and seeing that a lot of the trades I took, a lot of setups did yield 2 points. But now I'm just being more conservative again till I get my bearings. So as you can see, it did, and it would have given you 2 points. So pushes down. It's a 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, potential triple test. But this triple test, if you saw it as a possible trade, that's great because you'd have to take it on the engulfing. If you waited for this to close, it's right at the EMA. So it is a possible trade. It's a little more aggressive. You have to be pretty quick though. One thing I noticed is this red down channel broke, made one attempt to test the low. This could be the second attempt, triple test. So as I said, you have to base it off the strength of your belief that triple test, and you did catch the potential support here. So it's a possible trade, but I felt it was a little bit more aggressive. If you waited for this one to close, it feels dicey because you did have the EMA coming in. But in this case, it would have worked. But I want to point out this is during the time when some of the news came out rather rapidly. Because if you look at the timestamp up here, it's going to show 6:55 and 44. This candle is also 6:55 and 44. And finally, it's 6:56:01. So this happened, these three candles, these two at least happened very quickly. I don't remember what exactly was happening on the newswire, but something was said. It reversed very quickly. So if you got in late or you were waiting too long, this candle would have stopped you out for sure if you kept your stop above. In my case, when I took this trade, I kept my stop above here. This would have taken me out. If you're trying to be more aggressive, you could have kept your stop above here. This would have also stopped you out. So seeing that, I just kind of thought, okay, well, today could be kind of a weird, very choppy day. Just be extra careful. This new low, it's a first entry short, pull back. You technically have a second entry short here. This gray down channel doesn't exist yet. My expectation is prices are going to move back up to test the high. So it comes back here. I'm thinking there might be an EMA bounce, potential second move up, because it is a break of this orange up channel. First attempt up, pull back. Could be a second attempt, but this orange up channel doesn't look that great, doesn't fit all that well. You could actually modify it to something like this, but even then, it doesn't quite fit the high side all that well. So I was just a little bit left unsure, so I just waited. Prices moved down. So this looked like a new low, first entry short pullback. You technically have a second entry short. Second entry short, I saw this lower high, then it got confirmed here, but this lower high in the moment, there isn't enough justification for me to want to take this trade because it could be this break of this green down channel. Test the low here, made a second test low. So the second attempt has tested low. Why would you think there's going to be a third attempt? Other than maybe it's going to get a rejection off the EMA, which hasn't been super reliable because you can see price action moved above it, above, below, above, below, kind of not really being respected by prices right now. You don't know that this is going to happen, so this is why it's an almost trade. Prices move down. So it now successfully breaks out of what I think is my initial trading range. I draw this yellow down channel because it looks like it fits one touch, two touch, three touch. I had this a little tighter initially because I just said, okay, this little breakout here doesn't really count. Small little breakouts here, it could still be going down this yellow down channel. So far, it fits pretty well. It's a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. It's a bad signal bar though. Chopping sideways, I drew this as a potential range, trading range. Potential fail breakout here. Technically, you have a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. So there's really nothing here telling me to go long yet. Pushes up. You have another first entry short, double bottom. Now it actually makes a new low here. It starts drifting down. So this trading range has failed now. It looks like prices are continuing down. It just kind of continues down in a pretty orderly fashion. Hits this bottom. Again, this gray down channel doesn't exist yet. I'm just going to go ahead and make it transparent for now because it's not really a channel, or at least not an official channel in my chart. So it's just chopping sideways. You have a new low, first entry short, pull back. Technically, you have a second entry short here. I consider this also an almost trade. This isn't quite a trading range yet. At least I hadn't drawn it as a trading range. And if I did, I had it tighter here. So potential fail breakout, but it's kind of a weak looking second entry short, first entry short pullback, second entry short, confirmed second entry short here, but closed above the EMA, not a good signal bar. Look for a lower high below the EMA with a touch and ideally rejection down. But if it rejects too low, then I'm not interested. Which is, so it bounces off this. I'm liking this as a potential support now. Not necessarily a reversal because prices do look a little bearish at the moment. Here it creates a second entry short. So it's actually, and actually after I saw this, after I saw this, I dragged it up to about here. So a new low, first entry short pullback, potential second entry short, then a follow through. Now, if you decide to take this, I thought it was a little aggressive because you do have a one touch, second attempt, third attempt, new low, first entry short pullback, second entry short. Clearly, the bulls have been exhausted because it tried to attempt to go up once. It closed at the highs, a really strong hammer, but it failed here, pulled back. It tried again, and you end up with a doji, and you have a triple test. So, and keep in mind the EMA, I don't believe is that important at the moment. So you could say there's a potential second entry short here. And when it followed through, I wasn't really feeling FOMO because this does look like a sketchy setup. If it closed at the low, or at least broke below this guy, then I probably would have thought there's a trade here. So, if you did take it as more aggressive, in this case, it did work. Chopping sideways, potential fail breakout, new low, first entry short, second entry short, second entry short, bad signal bar. Chops, excuse me. Okay, so I had to stop for a moment and take care of something. So I don't quite exactly remember what I was saying, but so then prices broke out of this trading range, started moving down. Looks like it's going down this orange down channel, broke, tested low. Breaking below created a symmetrical break on the low side of this trading range as the high side. So technically you have a new high. You have a first entry long here because actually Hard to see from where this channel is. There's a break above, but I actually saw as one leg first entry long. If you had a first entry long, second entry long, this doesn't really yield a trade either because it's a bad signal bar. Follow through trigger bar is pretty nice, but it didn't break below. And you do have enough room to the EMA. It might be moving back into range, but I just saw it as a visual first entry long. Prices move back. So I do draw this as a trend line coming down. Later, I turned it into a channel. It was initially tight, a little bit more tight like that. Starts moving down. Looks like this blue consolidation area is done. So it's now moving down on this yellow down channel, hits a low, pushes up. Technically, I have a new low, first entry short, second entry short by the technical count, but I also saw it as a visual first entry short. Now, when it's moved this far from the break of this orange up channel, I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to test the high because it's recovered too much, but I'm thinking it might come down and test the lows of this yellow down channel. So it does test the low, but there's no setup that yields. It's a new high, it's a first entry long. Technically, I have a new low, first entry short, second entry short. Pushes up. Looks like it's one leg up, pull back. Technically a second leg up. And I actually saw this as a visual group this break here as one move. First entry short, pull back. Second entry short. The second entry short's a visual second entry short. It looks like it's two legs up from this potential support area. Excuse me. And there's a measure move been good made. It's a decent signal bar, but the follow through trigger bar isn't the best, but it did push back below the EMA. So it's a possible trade, but I think it was a little bit more aggressive. In this case, it would have worked. Of course, you don't know that at the time because you'd have to see this, get your order ready, enter. And when it closes kind of like this, it's not the most convincing. But if you're like me today, just going for a 1 point scalp, this would have yielded your 1 point scalp. Prices then continue moving down, bounces, pushes up on this orange up channel, breaks, tests the high. So at the time, I had all kinds of channels I had drawn since I've since deleted to kind of clean up the chart because I was trying to figure out, is this the channel that this is currently obeying or is it something else? Later, I did find this bigger one, but that comes much, much too late to try to get any trades off of it. Pushes up, break of this orange, test, makes a high, tests its second attempt. Now it's pushing back down. I'm watching for a potential move back into testing of the low of this at the time. Let's just say it's a red trading channel. Comes back down, creates a double bottom. You technically have a new high, first entry long pullback. You have a, let me go ahead and delete this for now. Hidden second entry long here. So it broke below, pushed back up. The thing I didn't like was there's barely enough room for a scalp before it hits the EMA. Plus, it's counter trend to this overall bias of the day. In this case, it would have worked. Now I'm thinking there's a potential second entry short. It's a new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I actually thought this was a possible trade, and I thought it was pretty decent because it moved one tick above the previous, pushed down, engulfed this guy completely, and closed near the low. This blue trading range doesn't exist yet. I didn't draw it yet, but I was thinking maybe it's going to test the lows of this red down channel first attempt. This could be the second attempt. If I were to try to enter this trade, I probably would have tried to enter it one tick below the original signal bar because the signal bar isn't very good, but the follow through trigger bar is looking pretty nice. So I would have tried to enter here. Looks like I would have gotten filled, and I don't quite remember if it pushed down then moved up, but let's say I didn't get my 1 point scalp yet. This would have gotten me the 1 point scalp. And then this lower high confirms the second entry short, but it's a terrible lower high to try to take a trade off of because it, as you can see, it pushed down to here, almost touches, makes a triple test, but it pulls back. So if you didn't enter on the second entry short, I definitely would not have entered on this lower high. Or if you don't know it's going to do this, pushes down. This is just congestion right here because there's just too many candles side by side. Pushes up, bounces. A little bit hard for me to figure exactly what's going on. Again, I did have this drawn as a potential channel, but it doesn't fit all that nicely. I was just going to color it in just so it makes it easier to see at the moment. Pushes down. Only real really two confirmations, not really a confirmation of the high side. Pushes it up and it's coming back down. Bounces, so it creates a double bottom, new high, first entry long. I'm gonna go ahead and delete this because it didn't seem like it was all that in play. First entry long, technically you have a second entry long here, but you're kind of buying into this EMA on, and you'll be buying, going long on a clearly bearish day. Pushes back down, creates a triple test. Triple test. Now, I saw this triple test, and I'm thinking, is there a possible trade here? It's a break of this orange down channel. First attempt to the low, second attempt to the low. It looks like it's exhausted. You have a potential triple test, one attempt to break through, second attempt, third attempt, reverses really strongly. You do have the EMA coming into play, but this triple test looks like a repeat pattern of this triple test because it was a break of this red down channel. First attempt to test the low, second attempt bounces. I really wanted this triple test to at least make a matching bottom or break below and reverse, and it stopped short right of the EMA. And it looks like it's doing exactly the same thing. Break of this orange down channel, first attempt down, second attempt down, but now you have the strength of a triple test here. So, and you're running into the EMA, so maybe there's a trade here. It would have worked, but again, this is one of those quick spike moves that kind of caught me by surprise, but push back up, this would have worked. Hits what I think is a top, so I drew this as a potential trading range. So clearly have support here, potential resistance up here. So I'm just kind of sitting on my hands watching this now. I thought this is a potential fail breakout. Pushes down, looks like it's bouncing, pushes back up. Now I'm thinking, is this a breakout pullback? So in other words, it's breaking out, pulling back, and then now it's going to resume because it made another attempt that was higher. And then I took an entry because I said, okay, new low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, but by the technical counts, first entry short, second entry short right here. Second entry short looks like it's about to fail. Has a pretty clean signal bar. It is doji, but it's pretty strong doji. And I thought it's a breakout pullback. It's bouncing off the top of this trading range. I entered, again, being super conservative today. Just took my 1 point scalp and went home. 2 points did leave me concerned because I thought about it because I was thinking, well, there's a double top here. Is it going to break through? It doesn't, and it starts reversing back down. So if I try to go for 2 points, I would have gotten stopped out by this candle. And I want to point out something else. Now, in hindsight, after this is completed, I drew this line here thinking, is this trading range actually higher up? So actually I had it here and it looks like it was obeying it pretty well, touch, touch. And it finally broke out. And I was thinking, actually, could it have been the trading range was higher here? If that was the case, this was a high risk entry because I'm buying right into the highs. It could be another failed breakout. And that would have been, definitely something I just should have skipped. But in the real time, I didn't quite see it that way. So I think I lucked out in this trade. So there's 2 wins now. It's a slow process of building back from my losses. So I'm kind of like, okay, well, after in hindsight, and I see this pushing all the way down, I was thinking, okay, well, I don't think I'm either getting sloppy or I'm not in tune again. So I decided to take no more real trades. So prices continue moving down. Break, test the low. No clean second entries yet. Looks like it's a spike and a channel. So at this point, I see this. And I initially had a channel from this high cutting through like this. And it doesn't quite fit too well. I'm going to go ahead and color it in just so it's easier to see. So it looks like it's one touch, maybe two touch, maybe a third touch. Drag this down here. It's really only one touch here. So I went ahead and looked at the 10,000 tick chart. You're going to kind of move in here. The 10,000 tick chart, we go ahead and reduce the size of this. Bring it into here. 10,000 tick chart, I drew this in the 10,000 tick chart. It looked like it fit pretty well. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my cursor real quick, the global cursor. Okay, hold on. I said, okay, where's this touch point? It's actually right here, and it actually touches pretty nicely here, 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 and it touches pretty nicely on the bottom. This is kind of since shifted. So then I recreated the touches here. One touch, there's a fail breakout here early on, but it touches pretty nicely here and here, but it touches and correspondingly confirms the bottom side pretty well. And I thought, okay, well, actually, this might actually be the trading range. So I'm going to go ahead and color it in. But as I said, it's a little too late in the day, or a little too late later for me to look for any trades. Creates a lower high here. I call it an almost trade because it didn't break below the EMA, so I'd leave it alone. Pushes down. It gets really congested here, just candles side by side. Pushes back up. You only have a first entry short. Technically, I mean, you could go in for technical counts and look for the next break below and say that's a second entry short, but contextually and per what's happening in the bigger picture, it doesn't look like there's really any good setups at the moment. I saw this as a multiple test here, but even going for 1 point scalp, it feels a little dicey. It looks like prices are trying to figure themselves out. So even though there's a multiple test here, I didn't think there was a trade here. Plus, if you're going long on a clearly bearish day, you're counter trend trading, which feels dicey. In this case, it would have worked, but I'm okay that it would have worked, and I wasn't on it because I just didn't feel confident about it. The new low, first entry short, and just hits the sideways consolidation. Yes, there's second entry shorts in here, but it's just noisy. Pushes back up, confirms the big channel now. So I'm trusting this big channel pretty well now. There's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long, potential failure. It does fail, but it stops short of the EMA. So I'm just not the biggest fan of this right now. Pushes down, but I will mark that. I should have marked this. It's a failed second entry long. It has a few things going for it. It looks like it hit this good signal bar. Technically, you do have enough room for 1 point scalp. It feels a little dicey, but this is a possible trade. Prices move down, break this orange down channel, test the low. It's this consolidation area. First entry short pullback. This is actually what I think is a really decent setup. Again, you have many confirmations of this gray down channel coming down now, disregarding this fail breakout right here. You have a measured 2 legs up. Break of this green up channel has tested the high. You have this really strong resistance, which has proven itself. You have a good signal bar here. There's at least 2 points here. And as I was saying, I'm only going for 1 tick right now. Not 1 tick, 1 point. There's a possible trade here. And I think I should have taken it, but I was just kind of thinking, I'm just going to watch it, mentally take the trade. And it looks like it would have worked. Prices then move. Now this break, I'm thinking, is there going to be a potential pullback into this channel? But I'm not that confident it's going to happen because as you can see, previously it's making all these touches. Now it's failing to hit the bottom side every time. So it could be exhausted. There could be a reversal coming up. It's a new high, first entry long. Technically, I have a second entry long here. But I also thought it might be in this orange down channel. It looks like it was. So if you did take this trade, you would have gotten trapped. Push it down, break. First attempt to test the low of this orange down channel. And it doesn't really try to test it again. But I did see that this is potentially a resistance area, not quite a trading range yet. But then it disregards it and pushes up and out. Pushes up and through. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move it to the end. This is entering the last 30 minutes. And as you can see, this is about where the last 10 minutes is. So definitely you don't want to be taking any trades here. This creates kind of a double top. I think this one's slightly lower than, well, actually they're the same height. So you could say there's a first entry long pullback, the potential second entry long, because I did draw this as a potential up channel, but it's too late in the day because it's at 7:54. So even though this looks like a lot of price action, which it is, there's only 6 more minutes, and I'm not going to get in on a trade when there's only 6 minutes left. And it kind of pushes into the close. Market actually hasn't even closed yet, but it's still going. So it was an interesting day. I was able to squeak out 2 trades. One was okay, and the second one was definitely a little bit ambiguous, a little dicey, and I probably lucked out. It was a decent trade I missed out here, unfortunately. I should have been, but if anything, I would have had to wait from this trade probably the whole day and then still be fully awake and fully sharp to take this trade. Fortunately, I wasn't, so this trade kind of went without me, which is fine. Hopefully, tomorrow being Friday, it will be like last Friday where there's more volatility. Volume is picking up, but today was definitely a better trading day than it has been the previous few days. So I'm hoping for tomorrow to be similar. So hopefully that was helpful.